morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily 10:30 in the morning live get together where we take a look at news, headlines, and stories happening in Puerto Vallarta, near Puerto Vallarta, and everywhere else. We get together every morning, share comments, ideas, thoughts, suggestions on how to move forward through these very interesting times that we're living. If you're new to these broadcasts, my name is Paco. And I encourage you to write the word new in your comments. Let us know where you are. Let us know how you found out about coffee and headlines. Um, I'm going to say hello to everyone in a second. But first of all, I want to tell you that I'm really, really bummed out because apparently I slept through the first thunder shower of the season. I woke up this morning to see comments by Trisha Lyman on her page that apparently around 1 o'clock in the morning, thunders broke out and there was a lot of rain. I came down to the lobby area and the pool area here at Hotel Mercurio, where we're broadcasting this week. And lo and behold, everything is drenched. I would have loved to see that because I enjoy welcoming the rain season as it brings very much needed fresh air and lower humidity. If any of you enjoyed it, please let me know how it went. Of course, it is important to remember that as thunder showers begin, this is a time of the year which we have to be mindful of how we plug and unplug our electrical equipment. More than one microwave oven or computer has been fried, and unfortunately, we hear these reports from friends of ours that did not get the proper voltage regulators, which are readily available at places like Costco and Sam's and so forth. So I certainly pray that none of that will happen to you. And hopefully, I'll keep my alarms on should it start raining again in the middle of the night because I don't want to miss it. Let's take a quick look at what everybody is up to today. I see lots of wonderful people that we welcome every morning: Chris, Margaret, Lynn, Craig, Mari, John, Rita, Sue. Sherry, who always has her coffee ready. I am good to go as well, thanks to my friends here at Mercurio. This is a good time to remind you that whereas I always encourage you to pitch me some coffee, if you enjoy the contents here at Coffee and Headlines, this week I remind you that all the coffees that you're willing to send our way will be directed in their entirety to the staff here at Hotel Mercurio. And I thank you for that. And the staff thanks you for that. So let's take a quick look. Boom, beam, beam, beam. There's a new person from Maryland, Thomas Hicks. Welcome, Thomas. This is Coffee and Headlines. If you're interested in life in Puerto Vallarta from the point of view of a local, English speaking local, or if you are an adventurous traveler, we look at things that are commonplace in our lives. We don't take a look at a lot of touristy stuff unless it relates to our livelihood. So if you want to hang out and enjoy conversation about the things that we go through on a daily basis living here in Puerto Vallarta, feel free to hang out as long as you want. Keep in mind that on Sunday, nothing is sacred and no one is safe because Sunday is Sunday fun day, and we will do our best to laugh a lot on Sundays in particular. We try to laugh a lot every single day. Um, Good sentiment, Dale. I hope everybody was safe through the storm. There's going to be a lot of those coming our way, as we know. Good morning, Linda from Las Vegas. It's great to see you. Um, wow, crazy storm last night. I am so sorry I missed it. I was very tired. Yesterday was a long, crazy day because aside from my morning show, the Coffee and Headlines, there was the daily talk show that I'm doing for the virtual Pride celebration this week. And then last night, I successfully produced a wonderful live stream of Princesas Desesperadas, which is a very popular uh, theater presentation in Spanish here in Puerto Vallarta. We had a great show. Um, oh, wow, Jeff, I am so sorry that this happened to you, but I hope nothing was ruined. Lynn talks about the first thunder and lightning a couple of nights ago. It's that time of the year, and I know that a lot of people don't like it, but I personally love the rain. I really, really love it. I don't like to get caught in it, but this is the time of year in which I am not shy to show you my Crocs because Crocs are the perfect are the perfect shoe to wear in rainy season here in Puerto Vallarta, in my opinion, because if it starts raining and you have to go to somewhere fancy, you just throw your Crocs in a backpack and that's okay. But my Crocs are my faithful ally during the summer months. Um, Newish from Vancouver, Barbara. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. It's great to see you. Paul is in Boston, my hometown for 2 decades. It was wonderful to live up there, although it's been such a long time ago. I don't remember many details, but yes, I spent 2 decades going to music school in Boston, and no, it didn't take me 2 decades to graduate. Um, there is a question. This is a very good question. Chris, does the Guadalajara Book Festival have a section of books in English? I have seen books in English at the fair, although, again, it is a fair that is mostly devoted to books in Spanish. Nonetheless, it is definitely a fun time to be in Guadalajara because of all the artistic stuff that goes on as part of the festival. So, would I go to the book fair in Guadalajara if I only spoke English? The answer is yes, but not necessarily to only go to the book fair. What I would do is I would schedule myself a trip to Guadalajara and look at what's going on culturally speaking in the city during that week, and I would check it out just because it is a massive event. It's so amazing to see so many booksellers and people that offer digital books and so forth and so on. It really is a sight to be seen. Um, I'm glad that Logan enjoyed Princesas Desesperadas last night. Uh, Michelle Griffin asks, "What instruments do I play?" I play piano. I sing. I play the baton because I studied choral conducting. And on my spare time, when I'm not doing anything in particular, I play the recorder. I love playing recorders. I play them since I was a kid. But enough about me. Enough about well, never enough about you. But we need to get into some serious news, folks, because our governor spoke again from his Facebook account last night, and oh dear. Well, let's take a quick look. Okay, so yeah, actually, let me come back to me because it's easier to explain than to show you the news. For starters, it's been a horrible week for the governor. It's been a horrible week for the world, but our governor is not having it easy dealing with issues of police brutality, dealing with a population in our state that is pretty much tired of being locked in. A lot of people have been disregarding the stay at home guidelines, the safe distancing guidelines, and it shows in the numbers, unfortunately. Now, we're not keeping track of specific numbers, but we've seen huge spikes on the spread of coronavirus and a number in the number of deaths that have been registered in our state. Yesterday, now let me switch to the governor. Yesterday, the governor announced that we are entering a what he calls as a phase of individual responsibility. Um, After reporting that yesterday was the day with most cases in the state and most deaths since the pandemic started, the governor said that we are not ready to move forward with phase one or to reactivate the economy. So, this, of course, he mentions is largely due to the fact that people are tired and don't want to be indoors anymore, which is understandable. But unfortunately, it is important to realize that we are not progressing through the pandemic as effortlessly as we would have wanted to because of people's lack of responsibility and a lack of mindfulness of others and so forth and so on. He did say two things. Number one, he is going to work with municipalities to increase the capacity of funeral homes. It sounds grim, but the reality is that hospitals are not funeral homes. Hospitals are hospitals where people are hopefully cured, and unfortunately, sometimes people die. But when a person dies in a hospital, the hospital has nothing to do with funeral arrangements. So during the pandemic, whenever we've seen these very sad and tragic looking photographs of hospital beds with dead bodies on them, packed in rooms and so forth and so on, it's because our country, and I can imagine many countries in the world, have never anticipated that we would need to have more businesses dedicated to funeral homes. And it's not like if you're a funeral home owner, you'd go like, well, we might have a pandemic this year. Let us increase our capacity by 20 or 50%. So what is happening now is, unfortunately, there are a large number of deaths here and everywhere else. So one of the things that the governor is going to be doing moving forward is to coordinate with the different municipalities in the state so that funeral homes have the proper capacity to deal with the number of deaths. More specifically, he said, even though um, we are still not ready to move out of phase zero, it is inevitable that we need to support specific industries that are going through a very difficult time. And unless we do that, these industries will simply disappear. And he referred very specifically to the tourism industry and to Puerto Vallarta. So, what does that mean? That means that the governor is going to be let me skip that because let me get into this for a second. The governor is going to be in Puerto Vallarta today. He's going to be meeting with the governor of Nayarit. He's going to be meeting with health representatives. He's going to be meeting with the mayor of Banderas Bay and the mayor of Puerto Vallarta and representatives from the hotel industry. And it is today that the most important decisions will be made for Puerto Vallarta. That means, do we continue to have the beaches closed or open? Are hotels going to be able to continue or begin increasing the way they can take care of guests and so forth and so on? So this very important meeting is going to be taking place today. We will know what the outcome of this meeting is going to be on Sunday, when the governor makes his usual weekly announcement of what is allowed or is not allowed as we move forward. But again, I don't expect much changing um, for what we've been able to do and what we've been the businesses that have been able to open. What kind of guidelines will the governor decide along with his advisory team, his business, economics, and health advisory team? It remains to be seen. I suspect that he may ask the local authorities to not say anything until the Sunday announcement that he makes every week. But we can also cross our fingers and hope that the governor will, or that somebody will actually give us a sneak peek as to what's going to happen. Everybody is starting to feel really antsy about this, and it is, of course, important for us to learn what's going to happen as soon as possible. To make things more interesting, we are dealing with three different health hazards in the region. One of them is, of course, COVID 19, but dengue and influenza or the flu are also out and about. So it is really important that you are mindful of, of this, that you take good care of yourself, that you make personally responsible decisions, that you make choices that work for you, and and to that effect, we are going to, as we mentioned yesterday, we are going to move forward through this, learning to get used to or relearning how to live with risk, and that's just the nature of the beast. Before I move on to other things, let me take a quick look at your comments just to see if there is something that I can answer for you. Bidim bim boom, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. It's raining in Sorrento, Baja California. Oh, that's good to know. Um, I promise I'm listening to you to your news, but what fun seeing the pool and pool toys behind you. Well, yeah, they're pool toys, and of course, there's also a yellow tape attached to those orange cones because the pools are not open. Pools are not open in hotels yet. Of course, they're very tempting. It's a very, very humid day, as we will report in the weather forecast in a second. Um, have some of the hotels reopen. Hotels are open to limited capacity in Puerto Vallarta. In fact, Hotel Mercurio has been welcoming guests, but hotels are not allowed to use public areas, common areas. So if you have a hotel and you have a playground for kids, or you're next to the beach, or you have a swimming pool, people are not allowed to use that as of yet. The local hotel industry is hoping that they're hoping to make three petitions to the governor. One of them is opening hotels. Number two, hotel pools. Number two, opening beaches, and number three, opening parks in which people commonly exercise using outdoor facilities, municipal parks. So that is the answer to your question. Um, I don't know that syndrome, but I'm going to research that. And of course, it is difficult. Ostrich's head in the sand syndrome. If you don't stay informed, then the situation isn't a reality. Well, yeah, this is true. I mean, there are a lot of people that choose not to read the news. And this is the reason why, whenever I'm reporting news, I've tried to make it my goal, our goal, Luna and I, our goal, my kitty cat and I, we make it as a goal to try to give the news as well sourced as possible, and to try to show a little bit of common sense and hand holding. All of this has been extremely difficult for a lot of people. I have some friends that have a very different tolerance level and that are living their lives in fear right now. I received a very kind note from a friend of mine who said to me, you're interviewing people and you're sitting too close to them. And that may be true in the eyes of some people. In the eyes of others, I have made decisions for myself that I'm comfortable with, and but remain appreciative of the fact that other people are in other levels of comfort, and that's just the way it's going to be for a while. um, Thank you very much for those remarks, Mary. I try to, again, try to do my best. I'm sure that you'll slap me around if I disappoint, and I'll be happy to be um, slapped. Phase zero is not a number. This is true. It's just a heads up. Absolutely. And good morning to you, Joe. Los Arcos employees are in hotel aislado with COVID from the office. If that means that there is a case of COVID-19 at Hotel Los Arcos, that's really unfortunate. I hope that's not the case. And if that is the case, I sure hope that they will be taking good care of themselves and those people around them. Um, Oh no, I do not envy. Excuse me. I definitely don't envy anybody in having to make health decisions or economy decisions or politics related decisions. This is a very challenging time, and this is where it is important in my book. And I'm going to put my opinion hat on for a second. Empathy, my friends, is so important. I mean, the governors, the presidents, the doctors, everybody is trying to make the best possible decisions they can based on a situation that is unprecedented. So um, we will see how things move forward. Um, Michael asks, can you walk around PV? Are there areas you can't walk around? I have an answer for you. If you're walking from point A and point B, nobody is going to question you. Of course, as long as you have a face mask on. You are not allowed to walk and spend time in public parks. You are not allowed to walk down the Malecon. The Malecon continues to be closed for recreational walks, although the access to restaurants and shops that are facing the Malecon have been open, so you can get to those restaurants if you want. I have the intention, although I need to see how my workload goes, to go walking down the Isla Rio Cuale today or tomorrow, because we've been talking about this for the past couple of days. And now I am simply curious to see how all the construction is going on. And as much as I appreciate the photos and articles that have been sent to me, I always feel a little extra level of accuracy if I go and take the photos myself, so that I can tell my own story. So if all goes well, I will put my face mask on in a little while today, or maybe tomorrow, and go walking along the Isla Rio Cuale. I'll take some photographs and I will report back to you to see what I found. Um, Bam, 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 bim, bam, bam. Okay, so let me move on. Just grab a fishing rod. What? Park it next to you on the beach, and the police leave you alone. Oh, interesting. I never thought about that. But then again, I'm not a fisherman, and I'm not going to um, buy a fishing rod just to be able to sit on the beach. I am happy to I am happy to wait patiently. And we get some good news from Mandy. Mandy tells us, Mandy, who's been organizing all the activities for the virtual Gay Pride celebration here in Puerto Vallarta, that Saul is doing a Rio Quale tour on as part of the activities that are going to take place today. Mandy, I don't have the schedule handy, but if you happen to have the time available and you can let us know it, I'm sure will be very much appreciated by people that are watching right now, so we can actually tune in live to whatever he's doing. Beam, pam, pam, pam. Randall has shared a link. I will take a look at it whenever I get done with the broadcast. Pam, pim, pam, pam, pam. Okay, let me go back to some headlines because we have some other headlines that are not quite as important and are somewhat amusing. Let's have a look. And for starters, we take a quick look at the weather as we always do. It's 86 degrees, feels like 96. Why? Because humidity is high. It rained last night, so that may have something to do with it. 74% humidity, 30% degrees Celsius, and the weather forecast tells us that it's going to be humid and partly cloudy throughout the day. So, moving right along, I want to tell you that locals in Sayulita triumphed over a gentleman who attempted to build construction on public land on the beach. This man, whose name is Richard Howarth, who owned some land on the beach in Sayulita, decided, well, I can construct because I can. And the citizens, the population of Sayulita, decided, no, you cannot because this is public land and you're not allowed to build on it. So take that. Good for Sayulita. Good for Sayulita. I also want to talk to you about tacos de canasta. I don't know if you've ever seen tacos de canasta or if you've ever tried them. I wanted to tell you a little bit about tacos de canasta, and I'll tell you why in a second. Tacos de canasta, also known as basket tacos, I mean, that's the literal translation. They're also known as sweaty tacos or tacos sudados, and I'm going to tell you why. This is a specific way of serving and selling tacos that developed in Mexico City. They say nobody really knows for certain where and when tacos de canasta began being sold. And tacos de canasta, what they are is it's usually these people that are riding their bicycles through the city with a basket full of tacos that are already prepared. It's usually people riding bicycles. Sometimes it's women with their baskets. And again, we don't know where they came from. They're very habit forming. But I can tell you that the earliest record of tacos de canasta comes from this awesome photograph taken in 1920 in Mexico City of a lady selling yummy tacos de canasta. Now, tacos de canasta are usually made of potato or beans or pork rind or chicken and mole sauce or potato and sausage. There's a couple of other variations. And what people do is they make these tacos ahead of time and then they put them in a basket and wrap them in plastic so that they stay warm and moist. That's why they're called sweaty tacos. And then outside of the plastic wrapping, they put a piece of fabric so that they will stay warm through the day. So out go the salespeople that sell tacos de canasta throughout the city, and we have them here in Puerto Vallarta. And you can find them at places, for example, Plaza Caracol has a place where you can buy tacos de canasta. If you're driving from Puerto Vallarta to Pitillal along Francisco Villa, you can also find a couple of shops. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I am inclined to do a shameless plug for my dear neighbor, um, Dina, who has started making her own tacos de canasta. She's making them at home. She's cooking them next to my apartment, and she makes me hungry all the time. And I have to do this shout out because she is my neighbor and I love her, and she is struggling as much as anybody else to get by in this time of of economic challenges. She taught herself how to do this, um, and she is selling tacos de canasta, and she will take them to your address. They will deliver if you are in Versalles or in Colonia La Vena, which is the colonia where I happen to live. Um, and I've had a chance to try her tacos, and they are absolutely delicious. So do forgive me for doing a shameless plug for someone that I love very much, my friend Dina. And we give her a shout out. We hope she is successful with this. If you are somewhere in Versalles or vicinity, please consider buying tacos from her. It will be very much appreciated. I will leave the Facebook page that she's using for you to consider. Moving on with our headlines, our leisurely headlines, let me tell you about two small town singers that chase their pop star dreams at a global music competition where scheming rivals, high stakes, and onstage mishaps test their bond. What am I talking about? I am talking about a new offering from Netflix starring Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams that is centered around these two singers that enter the Eurovision competition and try to win representing their country. If they look kind of silly on this illustration that I'm sharing with you, it is because of the nature of the Eurovision competition. The Eurovision Song Contest is an annual international song competition that has been held every year by the Eurovision Broadcasting Organization since 1956. Every single year, unfortunately, with the exception of 2020 due to the pandemic um, that we're going through right now. Um, the participants of this competition are primarily European countries, but it is important to know that some of the artists that we know and love have come from successful presentations at this contest. Two notable examples of this are ABBA. They competed in 1974 with their song Waterloo, and that's what pretty much kicked off their career. And also French Canadian singer Celine Dion. She competed for Switzerland in 1988, and that's how we got to know them. Now, on this side of the Atlantic, we probably don't know much about the Eurovision contest, but it is a really interesting competition. And what makes it unique is the fact that all the European countries have such variety in cultural, social, and artistic values. And because the competition is a televised event, they come under criticism because a lot of times some of the performers, some of the contestants are particularly flamboyant, or they have all kinds of production and light effects and crazy extravagant costumes like the ones we see on this illustration. So what Will Ferrell is doing with this venture is providing us a romantic comedy that is also a spoof on the nature of the Eurovision contest. I will leave you the trailer for this, and it's going to be premiered on Netflix later on this month. I also want to um, tell you about this lady that I've been very curious about because I know who she is, but I've always wondered about her life. And now, apparently, according to Towel Road, there is a new book coming out that outlines or details the life that Melania Trump lives next to her husband, President Donald Trump. This is a book that has been written by a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter for the Washington Post, and it is called the what is this called? I cannot even see my screen. It's called The Art of Her Deal: The Untold Story of Melania Trump by Mary Jordan. I don't know about you, but I have been curious and wondered about what her life must be like, what kind of prenuptial agreement she must have made with President Trump, and whether she has a lot of influence in the White House over him or not. I'm going to be looking for this. I'm going to be looking for this for my Kindle, and this might be something interesting to read. Let me take a quick look at any new comments you may have. Bam, 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 boom. Oh, thank you, Mandy. Thank you so very much. So at 2 o'clock p.m., you can tune into the Puerto Vallarta Virtual Pride group on Facebook and enjoy a walking tour of Isla Rio Cuale. For that matter, I may actually crash it. I may try to get in touch with Saul to see if I can join him and see what's going on over there. Take some photographs. I also see that Taco History 101. You know what's amazing, Mari, is that there are so many different types of tacos in Mexico, and tacos sudados or tacos de canasta is just one variety. For that matter, if you're interested in tacos, as long as we're talking about Netflix shows, there is an excellent documentary in several episodes called The Taco Chronicles. It's on Netflix. I will make sure um, to share the link for that as well. And the beautiful thing about this documentary is that although it's in Spanish, it has English subtitles. So if you think I'm making you hungry with these photos of tacos de canasta, wait till you watch this show. It really is something out of this world. Um, I'm making you hungry. That's the whole intention. Glad to know that some of you already know and enjoy tacos de canasta. Again, the ones that my friend Dina is making are absolutely fantastic. And yes, ABBA won Eurovision with Waterloo, and that's what started their career. Um, Anybody else in town having issues with a live stream? I certainly hope not. Usually, my system forewarns me if there's going to be a low signal. So, if you're having problems with connection issues, I hope that they will come back to you. And I'm sorry that the broadcast is being interrupted. Um, let's see. Let's see. You don't need info on Millennia, please. Well, I don't need it either, but again, I'm trying to show some empathy here. She has chosen a very difficult life for herself and has probably chosen to make some very important sacrifices in her life. I wish to believe that until I am proven wrong. And yes, I am going to read that. Um, I see more reports of connection issues. Again, I'm sorry to hear that. I haven't seen anything flagged at my end, and hopefully this is something that will be rectified. And I'm going to upload the pre-recorded version of the show, or not the pre-recorded, but the recorded version of the show that gets saved on my computer. I will save that to YouTube as I do always, and hopefully you will have a better experience watching that along with the show notes. It is now 11:03, and I am going to end our time together today. As always, I am so thankful for your support. And I am thankful for the fact that this week you're helping me support our friends here at Hotel Mercurio. They're having a difficult time like anybody else, but I'm very, very grateful to see that some of you have been buying coffees for them through the week. And this is something that is very, very much appreciated. Again, last minute connection reports. Some people are having a successful connection. So, again, I'm going to hope that this is a temporary, localized situation. This is it for today's, my friends. I will see you again tomorrow. Between today and then, please stay healthy, please stay happy, please stay creative, and please stay in touch. Have a great afternoon.